Today, we're looking at a pretty frustrating reality. We're going to explore why incredibly smart people, maybe even you or me, end up selling their investments at the absolute worst possible time. But more importantly, we'll break down exactly how you can avoid making that same mistake. All right, let's just dive right in.
So I want you to rewind with me to March 2020. In just a few short weeks, the stock market plummeted by a massive 30%. And in response, millions of people did the exact same thing. They panicked and they sold absolutely everything. But you know what the craziest part is? It wasn't because the underlying companies suddenly became bad businesses overnight.
They sold simply because fear completely took over. But, here is the catch. Just a few months later, the market fully recovered its losses. Because fear forced them out, those exact same people completely missed the ride back up. It's a classic trap, and honestly, it happens cycle after cycle.
So in this explainer, here's what we're covering. First, the psychology of loss. Second, the herd mentality. Third, the recency bias. And fourth, the smart investor plan.
Okay, Section 1. The psychology of loss and why losing hurts more.
Now, in behavioral economics, this dynamic is known as loss aversion. Basically, it means that losing money hurts way more than winning that exact same amount feels good. And look, this is a perfectly normal hardwired human trait. It was originally designed to keep our ancestors safe from physical danger. But during a market crash, oh man, this protective feeling goes into absolute overdrive. Watching your portfolio plummet doesn't just feel like arbitrary numbers changing on a screen. No, your brain genuinely treats it like a real physical threat. Literally like an actual predator is attacking you out in the wild. And that right there is exactly why selling in a panic rarely feels like a calculated financial decision. In the heat of the moment, it feels like an act of pure survival. Your brain is really just trying to get you to safety.
Let's look at Section 2, the herd mentality. We're copying the crowd.
So, humans are naturally wired to copy the behavior of the people around them. And while sticking with the herd definitely kept our ancestors alive back in the day, in the modern stock market, this instinct works aggressively against us. Just think about it for a second. When everyone around you is selling, and you turn on the news only to see these big flashing red banners using extreme words like crash or disaster, staying calm feels, well, inherently wrong. It actually feels reckless to just sit there and do nothing, even though history proves time and time again that doing nothing is usually the exact right choice.
This herd behavior totally explains why market crashes happen so violently and so fast. It's rarely just a steady stream of new, bad economic news that's driving the plunge. What's actually happening is a massive chain reaction. People see others panicking, which validates their own internal fear, and then boom, they panic too. It is literally a psychological contagion spreading like wildfire.
Moving on to Section 3, the recency bias, and thinking today repeats wherever.
You see, when the market bleeds for several days in a row, our brains completely trick us into believing the drop is just going to continue infinitely. This little psychological glitch is called recency bias. It's basically our tendency to give way too much weight to events that literally just happened over the last few days, while we completely forget the bigger historical picture of how markets actually behave over years and decades.
And because of this bias, people who panic sell are strictly reacting to the news cycle of the last 72 hours. They get so incredibly caught up in all those immediate red arrows that they become completely blinded to the actual, long-term, foundational value of the assets they own.
All right, finally, Section 4, the smart investor plan, and having a plan ready.
So what actually protects successful investors during a terrifying crash? Well, spoiler alert here, it's not about being inherently smarter. Not at all. It's about having an actionable plan already in place, one that was built when you were calm, rational, and definitely not scared. Investors who handle crashes gracefully do all their decision-making well in advance. Let's walk through it together. First, they establish exactly how much of a temporary loss they can logically stomach, and they do this before they ever invest a single dime. Second, they constantly remind themselves that historically, markets have always recovered. By making these decisions early on, they effectively lock their strategy in place long before fear ever gets a chance to take the wheel.
Okay, let's sum all this up. Panic selling basically boils down to 3 really powerful psychological traps. 1. Losing money hurts our brains way more than winning feels good. 2. We are biologically wired to copy a panicking crowd. And 3. Recency bias totally tricks us into thinking a temporary bad moment is our permanent new reality.
I want to be super clear here. Falling into these traps doesn't mean you're bad with money. It just means you're human. The ultimate shield against your own biology is simply preparedness. So I really want to leave you with this thought.
If the market dropped 20% tomorrow, does your current financial plan rely entirely on just your willpower, or do you have a system in place to protect you from your own panic?
If this explainer helped you understand market crashes even a little bit better, definitely make sure to subscribe. Next week, we're going to shift gears to tackle a related and honestly equally fascinating question. Why is saving money so incredibly hard, even when we explicitly know we should be doing it? It's a great one.